I've never been to an art exhibit before, and this is my first time going for the legendary trigger animator Sushio, so it was quite the experience. What's up, guys? Sam from Weebsy here, and I posted about this a while ago. I actually ended up going to Sushio, the trigger animator, clothing apparel designer. He has the clothing line Solid Line. We went to his art exhibit that was being held this past weekend in Los Angeles at Gallery Nucleus. Now, I say it was being held last weekend, but it is actually running, I think, until January. Anybody can go. It's at the Gallery Nucleus store, which to my surprise is a store that is just open year round, and they just also have an art gallery in the backside of it. They even have Disney stuff inside of there if that's your jam. But this past Saturday was the only time the Sushio was going to be there. He was signing things. I think originally it was going to be 2 per people. He was holding an art class where you could draw alongside of him and see some of his works and his philosophy that goes inside of it. I didn't go. I had to work that morning. I actually didn't get off till 3 o'clock, and it takes me an hour to get to LA to where I'm from. So I had to go there straight from work. By the time we actually arrived, it was probably close to 4:30. And the signing and the meet and greet begins at 5. Once we finally got there, I immediately knew we were in the right spot. I could see the Gallery Nucleus sign and the line of weebs that were coming outside of it. So we got in line, and by the time, that being said, it's 30 minutes before the event's supposed to start, before you can meet the man, there was a line wrapped around the corner. Okay, so we were late. We showed up. We were at the way back of the line. We were sitting there, me and my girlfriend, we went together, and we were just hanging out, probably for like solid 15 minutes, I would say, until finally word starts to get around the line that this is for signatures only, and you need to buy something. You need to have something. I showed up with nothing. I could have brought my cool Promare poster. I could have brought a cool Studio Trigger poster that I got from Anime Expo. I showed up empty-handed. So I had my girlfriend hold the place in line. I went inside the Gallery Nucleus, which is a store I've never been to before, and it's a cool store. I gotta say, all positivity here. They got a lot of cool art prints, a lot of cool indie books. He had his own little booth. Not even like a booth. It just looks like a regular, like you walk in a Gap and they have the apparel, they have the jeans on it. He had one of those displays with a bunch of exclusive shirts. He had an exclusive tote bag, which is completely sold out. I was not aware what exactly of his was exclusive to this event before coming. So I bought 3 art books. Couple with a sketch work on Kill La Kill, and a couple, or actually one with his fashion line, kind of Sushio specific. So I bought those. Those all ended up, so he had about 6 books that he brought with him. And from what I heard in line, they're exclusive, first time ever being brought over to the US to be sold. So those are exclusive in that way, but he had shirts and other stuff that was going to be exclusive just to his actual exhibit event, which I didn't copy any of it, unfortunately. So I bought some of those. I had my girlfriend come inside as well. We gave her our place in line, so we browsed a little bit. We looked in there, and this is where the confusion began to happen. So they had some people who were clearly volunteering. I don't know if they work for Gallery Nucleus or if they were volunteers, but they were dressed up as Kill La Kill characters or characters from his fashion line, Solid Line, and they were manning the register, where basically you had to buy the book, then they would give you a receipt, so you could buy his Solid Line book. Let me see, I got it right here. So you could buy Sushio the Idol. This was just hanging out on the display right when you walked in. You grab it, you take it, you can buy it. All right. If you wanted any of his original books, which is this stuff here, let me show it to you. If you wanted any of this stuff, he had 4 different copies of it. You had to buy them at the register, and then you can go. They had black curtains basically blocking off the gallery section of it, and there was a huge line inside already. You had to go take that receipt. Inside the other side of this black curtain, there was another booth set up right there. And then someone would take your receipt, kind of like Costco or Walmart, mark it with a fucking marker, and then give you your book. At that point, you were inside the art gallery. But I don't know if I looked like I was lost or what was happening. The moment I crossed over there, I had this lady, no, you can't go back there. You can't go back there. You can't go back there. I'm like, okay. So I asked, I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm here to see Sushio. I know about the event, but how does this work? I've never been here before. It turns out you do exactly as I say. You buy the book, you go in there. I was told I was not allowed to be back there buying the book. I got told, get out. So I was like, okay, like my bad. We knew the line that was wrapping all the way outside was for the signatures, which I later found out the line that was inside that I saw as well behind the curtain is an extension of the signature line. And Sushio was at the end of that line. So we walked all the way back out around the corner, and there we stood for, I would say, probably by the time we got Sushio's signature, the store had closed. He was supposed to stop at 8 o'clock. That was what time the store was going to close. He was still going. He was still going by the time that we got in there. So it probably took us a solid 3.5 hours of this line, the longest line I've ever waited in my life, 110%. And these books, all right, make no mistake. Look at these books. They're heavy. They are beefy, dude. I have my receipt right here. I spent $132 on these 3 books. $132. Obviously, the beefy ones are about $45 a pop. So, I mean, they're not a bad value, especially for stuff that comes from Japan. They're generally going to be more expensive than what you get in the Americas. So let's talk about the line now that we're back inside of it. It seemed like multiple people did not know how this was going to go. So as it became darker, I was getting hungry. I was getting feisty. I think a lot of people were feeling that same way. One of the people actually working with, I assume, Sushio, kept coming out and kind of checking with people, like kind of, hey, like, have you bought your stuff? Have you gone inside to look yet? Because they finally decided about an hour and a half of people waiting, now that it's pitch fucking blackout, that they're going to start telling people, just a heads up, this is just for signatures. If you haven't bought stuff, you need to go inside and buy it. Luckily, they were being very, very nice. We kind of got punished here, my girlfriend and I. We figured that out ourselves. We left our spot in line. We went inside, got our stuff. We went back to the back of the line. Had you waited, it's kind of a risk management here. Had you waited, she came by, she told you that you can go inside, she'll make sure you keep your spot in line, go buy your stuff, come back. But by the time they were doing that, a lot of these books right here, they sold out. They were done. Not to mention the apparel, the tote bag, whatever, those were gone. So if you waited, you could obviously be a little bit quicker in line, you'd be in front, but a lot of stuff would have been sold out by the time you get in there. So as we got closer to the front of actually being able to enter Gallery Nucleus and not freezing to death in the cold, it started to become more apparent that, Sushio, listen, full respect, I was tired standing there. He was getting tired of drawing so much stuff. People kept bringing in outside stuff where I heard you could pay extra money for him to sign stuff that was not bought at the event. But I think too many people, as with all things, too many people started to ruin that, and the man started getting tired. All right. So the same lady that was coming by and doing line control, she came out and was like, hey, just a heads up, guys. He's only going to be signing 1 thing per person. Luckily, I brought my girlfriend, so I had 2 things to get signed. 1 thing per person. We would prefer it. He would prefer it if it was his own thing, like his book, his merch, whatever it is. Please have it be its own thing. And first of all, I thought that was just going to be a preference thing. Like, hey, like, it's frowned upon. Obviously some obnoxious people are still going to do it. The homie that I had behind me, who, I say homie, we weren't really talking. I was just hanging out with my girlfriend. He wanted his iPad signed. All right. And I was like, hey, that's a great idea. Honestly, have the iPad sign. That's what he draws on. You got that famous animator sign on it. That's cool. That's super cool. So we waited this line. We finally got inside. We start doing the zigzag thing again. And once we get inside, now it's like, okay, yeah, no, go look around, take photos, take everything. When we were in the actual Gallery Nucleus portion of it, there were signs all over, no photography, don't take photos. So we've started like talking to some of the people that were working at the event and like, no, take whatever photos you want. And I'm like, seriously? I'm like, yeah, do whatever. And then we even asked like, so can we look at the gallery and stuff? Like, can we have gone in? Yeah, you could come in. It's like, dude, I swear someone told me I am not allowed behind that curtain. I got told, get. So I got shooed off when it turns out the whole time we were waiting those hours in lines, we could have been inside looking at the gallery. We could have been going in, seeing him sign stuff. The way they had this set up, which I thought was really cool, we're basically in a kind of a giant warehouse. Sushio, is signing all of the books at the end of this giant zigzagging line. But behind him, there's a staircase that goes up top. They call it the art atrium or something. And once you get up there, there's a window up top where you can now look down at everybody that is waiting in line. And if you look directly down out this window, there's a glass, so you can't throw anything outside of it. You can see him doing all of the signatures, which I thought was cool. He's like signing, he's drawing pictures of people. He's going crazy. And it's like, and I now understand why the line took so long, because the man is signing and drawing. He's insane. He's literally doing all of this work. Sharpie, he's got an entourage and they're talking to people. I'm like, dude, I have nothing but respect for Sushio. He went all out for this thing. All out. So the gallery itself was really cool. They had a lot of his artwork, a lot of the designs that you would see on his apparel blown up on giant banners and stuff. And then they had original artwork that you could buy because it is an art gallery. They're up for purchase. I think one of them sold for $1,800. Like, that's the kind of stuff that was going to be the original artworks that you could buy. A lot of the stuff. So you're kind of thinking, let me see if I could pull one out for you. You're kind of looking at something like this. So this is kind of the artwork that we saw. This is work on Kill La Kill. It's cool stuff, really cool stuff. But a lot of that was like his original sketches for his apparel or stuff that he worked on personally. It was really cool. They had a whole wall on one side where it was all original sketches framed that you could buy. On the other side was the banners that was full color, full blown, amazing, super amazing. And then they had the booth where they had another banner where it says Sushio, solid line, and a bunch of his artwork, all fully color as well. And then the big line right in the middle. They had some art pieces where I don't know exactly what's special about them, but they were in like glass, like bulletproof glass is what it looked like. And I have a couple pictures of them. There's 6 artworks that's inside of there. Very, very cool. It was super cool. I've not been to an art exhibit before. I can't even tell you how many museums I've been to. I don't think that many, maybe one or two. It was cool. It was just the line management aspect of it was probably the worst part, where it didn't seem like anybody knew what the system was going to be. Nobody knew you could go in and shop and then keep your spot in line. No one knew you could go in and look at the gallery and not be in line. No one was informed over that. Once we finally got in there, I will tell you, it was probably 7:30 by the time we actually hit the inside part. And that's when the rumors started going like, oh, he's supposed to stop at 8. He's supposed to stop at 8. It's like, oh shit, we're not going to make it. There's no way we make it. The line was going. He was talking to everybody. I mean, like I'm telling you, I don't put it on him. I just don't think he expected maybe how many people were going to show up to see him. I kept seeing people from his staff coming by and counting how many people were left in the line. And I was like, man, I'm going to be so tilted if I like get right there. Like we're inside. I can see the man himself. If we get right there and he's like, all right, deuces, people. It's 8 o'clock. Later. Good seeing you. And at this point, they're telling everybody, hey, only his original stuff. He's not signing anything else. The guy behind me, once we got really close, we were probably like one little zigzag away. And he asked the girl who was there, they had you write your name on Post-it notes. So then he could write your name. He could sign it. He could personalize it to you. And everything had to be personalized. He wasn't doing just blank Sushio signatures. I assume that's to stop reselling. So it had to be personalized to whatever you want. I had both of them personalized to Sam. I was thinking one of them I wanted to do Weeb's Guild, but we were like some of the last people. And I didn't want to be like, hey, write the world's longest fucking English like phrase and then we'll be good. So I had both of them do to Sam. My girlfriend put her name as Sam. I put my name as Sam. So she went up first and they're like, oh, Sam. And I have a recording of her basically going signing. You see, he draws like a little character and he signs it and writes the name on the top. And then I too have my name, Sam. I walk up, I was like, hey, Sam also, what's up? I'm like, oh, double Sam. I'm like, yep, double Sam. And they're drawing. And so for mine, he draws two. He draws one big one, one small one, because my girlfriend is 5'1", if nobody's ever seen her before, and I'm 6'6". So there's a big hype on. So he drew like one big, one small. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And he had to take multiple breaks while we were in the line. So like, I really was like, hey, man, like, I appreciate it. Like, really cool. And we went on our way. Didn't stick around too long. He had a custom skateboard that he was right offside. He had a picture of like all the Kill la Kill characters dressed for Christmas, which I thought was really, really cool. It was all in all a very neat experience. I only had a few seconds with the man. And it's like, I just, watched him do his work. I said, thank you so much. I laugh at fucking everything. We laughed. I went on my way, and that's what I have. I mean, I have the artwork here, so I did not get this one signed. I thought the small one, the baby one, we'll leave it. All right. So this was the first one we got signed. This was, I believe, my girlfriend's one. Let me double check and make sure that is right. This is mine, actually. Okay. So this is the main one here. I figured if anything, we got to get his actual book signed by him. I feel like that's the coolest one that you could do. So this has a bunch of stuff. You see more Kill la Kill things, the original designs. I mean, it is cool stuff. It's really, really cool. And this is all full color. I mean, how could you not? So this is the first one we did. They put pieces of paper inside because he was shining with like a fat Sharpie. And that way he didn't have to worry about actually, having it smear all over the place. So this is the first one he did. Look how cool this is. He did it and everything. Look, this was my girlfriend's. He did like little hearts and a little happy face. Look how cool. That is really, really cool. And by the way, he was signing stuff for free. If you bought his stuff, signature for free. You just had to wait in line, which is just absolutely class. And he stuck around. The store closed at one point, and he was still signing. We were the last people before he had to go take another break, so I don't know how long it took for him to finish. But he signed my book right here, and then he was like, all right, I got to go take a break. So this is mine right here. I'll show you some of the pictures inside as well, and then we'll take a look. I know some people probably going to lose their minds that I'm damaging it here or whatever, but you can see more full color things and all that stuff. It's cool. All right. So here's mine. Let me take the paper off it. And as I said, he did too. Look, big me, small me, because he thinks we're both Sam. So I just rolled with it. I was like, we're double Sam. Go for it. So he drew two of us and he dated it, which is just absolutely class. Absolutely. I mean, how often do you actually get to meet, especially someone so like Trigger is my girlfriend's favorite, like animation company of all, loves anything Trigger, loves Promare. So we had to go. We waited in this line for 3 hours. She stood there with me, and we both got him signed. And it was such a cool experience. It was really cool to go and see, special nod to some of the most annoying people in the world in the line. But I feel like that comes with any sort of convention setting that you bring these people together who don't exactly know how to act. So, I mean, special nod to that. That was a fun time waiting in 3 hours lines with those kind of people. But I don't know that it gets the event at all. I think it was a good event. It was very special. It was very cool to get to meet him. It was very class of him to stick around. I mean, his wrist had been hurting My legs were hurting from standing for that long. If I had to sign for that long, I don't know what I would do. I have no idea what I would do. So I give it to him. I think there is a lesson to be learned and maybe being more communicative about how the system works, because a lot of people were leaving the line trying to figure out what was happening. I think it would be a lot easier too to figure out if you could go into the gallery, maybe have signs up, figure that stuff out. I think there could be a lot more clear communication happening here. That being said, it was a success, man. I don't know if I would recommend ever waiting in that line, but I think if you ever want, I'm going to treasure these forever. This is way cool. And it was such a cool little like low down event in a little gallery somewhere in LA. How often is someone from Japan going to put on an art exhibit in the US? Like, that is cool. That is really cool. So that was it. I mean, they had a bunch of exclusive there. They had a bunch of people there. Obviously, all very expensive. They actually had a lot of other stuff just at Gallery Nucleus that I thought was really cool. So I'd definitely check them out again if I'm ever in the area. It goes till Christmas. So the Christmas is going to be the last day you go and see it. He's the full art gallery. I'd be interested to go and see it when there's not a fat line of people. So I would kind of want to see it again. That way I can actually experience the full gallery aspect of it. Definitely check it out. It's at Gallery Nucleus. It's out in Los Angeles. If you guys have any questions or if you went to the event yourself, send me your photos. Send me your drawings. The guy in front of me, Sushio drew a little caricature of him in his book. Send me your drawings. He did all kinds of other stuff. If you got something not his, like, and I'm talking like a pop figure or something like that, if you got that signed, I saw people getting their Promare cases signed. Send me that stuff. Tweet it at me. Send it to me on Instagram. All of that's in the description down below. Be sure to subscribe, you guys. We'll be hitting up all these events. We got some conventions coming up I'm going to talk about. Let me know what you guys thought. I'll see you guys next time. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be back. All right. Have a good one, everybody.